Okay, start by taking a nice few breaths in and out, really surrendering into the body, into the heart, feeling the weight of your body dropping into the chair. And we're just going to raise up some protections with the Holy Mother, Holy Father. A pearlescent opal Merkaba begins to spin at the heart center, opening the pearlized pillar of light. Mother Ark, Father Ark, encase the essence. And we begin to run that star down to the core of the earth, inhaling, exhaling. So allowing the core of the earth, the 13th chakra, just to spin, unlock, and open. Drawing up a gorgeous pale silver and aquamarine ray of light up through the pillar, drawing it up with the breath, inhaling, exhaling, decompressing stress, tension, discomfort, and just allowing this mother tone to start regulating your consciousness. Stabilizing and grounding the light, any areas and layers of fluctuation. We are going to work with the affirmation of faith. I am trusting and holding faith in God to support. So we can start letting go of the fear by bringing in faith and trust. Allowing the light to spin just around the right side of the face, head, neck, and spin right through left, claiming your body, expanding your light. Inhale, exhale, heart begins to spin and open, root begins to spin and open. Holy Mother, Holy Father's frequency intercepts and interfaces at the heart and at the root. Rehabilitating the parental currents of the Holy Mother, Holy Father to intercept back with the aspects of fear and the fractured layers of the fields. Replenishing with opalescent plasma, restoring the cracks. I am secure, I am safe. Challenging the belief systems within the fear modulations. Backside solar plexus unlocks and opens. Inversion at the backside of the solar plexus. We're just going to bring in that plasma light, that opalescent plasma, into the back of there. And as we go in to the backside of the solar plexus, there is we'll say like an electrical disturbance to the backside nadial pathways, which are relaying kind of distorted frequencies through the back of the solar plexus, which destabilizes the ability to find reason, overthrowing the power center, which is spiking the charges within the root field. And we're just going to isolate that frequency out. And all the nerve endings in the body I've just really highlighted there, specifically the trigeminal nerves, right and left side of the face. Third eye moves from being very tight to starting to unlock. Frequency of freeze begins to phase out. And we're just going to watch this phase out through the light body as a black smoke cloud. And within that, there are electrical disturbance patternings that are kind of I would say engineer a reaction. Let's just recode. Back in alignment with the Holy Father of complete security. And that black smoke cloud is now presenting as a kind of black smoke skeletal face. We're going to connect into the unconditional, compassionate love of the Holy Mother. Or the left side arm, getting very painful, very numb over the shoulder, down through the elbow, through the wrist. And we're going to observe this shadow creature through the eyes of unconditional loving compassion. Allowing the root just to slowly unlock as we claim our bodies. Expand our light. Reclaim our territory. Levels of grief moving out of the body, out of the heart, out of the shoulder. Trapezius muscle, shoulder to neck to back. And it's the fear of being victimized, really. Shadow feminine. Realigning love patterns through the left side body. Crown begins to open. Third eye begins to open. Vertical pillar of the seventh body accelerates in opening and begins to clear the Hara line of the seventh body. Violet plasma interfaces with the crystal light pathways. Inhaling, exhaling, restoring the cracks within the hara line. Rainbow light expansion through the solar plexus, expanding through axiotonal lines, stabilizing the rainbow currents through the axiotonal lines and the crystal chakra keys and seeds. Inhaling, exhaling through the heart. We're going to do that 2 more times. Each time we inhale, we're going to hold it for a little bit longer and slow the exhale as we move into the rainbow realms. And subsequently, the rainbow realms are then triggering up the presentation of clown entities. And we're just going to watch them. Holding deep, grounded knowing that they cannot touch you because you belong to God. Okay. Doya kriyamas manas na yukorash na yukrichena dietayana ahiana mo utorash na yukrichana ahora. Through the rainbow realms, presented with rainbow flames, begin to rebuild and rehabilitate into the body. And as we integrate more of the flame code, this then begins to sit within the strands of DNA. It's like kind of 12 rays of the rainbow that's being presented to me. And this is then recirculating back into the DNA, but it's also amplifying the color ray spectra of your dimensional frequency bands, delineating out artificial overlays from the lower bodies. So this is looking at like kind of gray to black gradient overlays to your rainbow light. And that's also presenting with me with the clown entities as victimizer memories and done by these clown entities. And these actually play a role as something a bit more kind of dark and sinister, more kind of demonic. And they're also linked, I feel like they're also linked into like the Nephilim shadow, the Nephilim race lineage. So as we draw in more of the rainbow flame, we're going to inhale and slowly exhale, focusing on the root sacral solar, expanding the light and phasing your rays through the shadow body, which is dissolving the dominator victimizer consciousness within these memories. And this is coming in on multi-dimensional levels. So there's many dimensional frequency bands that this information is presenting through. But subsequently, it all ties back into the Qlippoth Black Tree of Life. Okay. Presence of Yeshua stepping forward. Crystalla sound tones reverberating. Harmonic chimes and angelic chords being sung, repairing the sound fields to the Qlippoth. And that would effectively break it down somewhat because the Qlippoth is based on a reversal, to essentially bring it back into alignment with the 12 tree grid, the organic morphogenetic field that aquí mas manas na yokura. Allowing the angelic sound tones to elevate, amplify, as we observe the Qlippoth. Interesting. So it's actually with the angelic sound tones bringing back a kind of nails to a chalkboard screech effect as the gorgeous tones of the angelics and the higher harmonics connect with the reversal tones of the black tree of life. Nayo kurias mana atia, das gerish ne etienne e yamot the buhio kurias nas nayanai. Nakia kurichane yamot purias no snoyo kurashana okura. Tuskurishni etia ta auna ahiana ma autopushmi mura. Inhaling, exhaling, solar plexus unlocks and blocks. Get this surge of confidence coming through the back side of the solar plexus, phasing forward through the front, building your inherent divine confidence. Breathing in through the hips, restoring through the root, elevating architecture that has fallen or digressed. Light circulation builds through the architecture, vortexual spins, magenta ray, ruby ray, interfaces with the architecture, blue sapphire tones emanate out from the crystalline cathedrals, and golden illuminations and bells present through the cathedral. Awakening your consciousness through the chiming of the bells, locked within fear modulations trapped within the Qlippoth. Sending a calling back to your consciousness. It's time to come home. The doorways open through the Qlippoth, through the different gates of the Qlippoth. We've got black smoke coming out of the spheres. We're going to inhale, exhale. And just sit with the feeling of this black smoke coming through the doors, knowing that it cannot touch us. And as we sit in observation, it then shows how it engages with the physical body and the higher dimensional bodies. So I'm seeing like a set of, and this will be kind of different for everybody, just seeing sets of wires connecting to the left side brain. So that will interface through the nadial system, and that also runs through a kind of circuitry which kind of exaggerates, there's like a kind of dial on it that exaggerates the charges of stress, anxiety, tension. And this basically sits with a bunch of implants in your astral body. So holding this knowing, start seeing the hooks being taken out of your physical body. And running that opalescent light plasma into the circuitry. into the implants. Okay. And just allow this to dissolve and disintegrate. It may feel like areas of the body are getting a lot more tighter and other areas are getting looser. And what we want to do is just observe the tightness, because that will be where the engineered blockages will be pulsing frequency through your field, where we're unable to kind of break it down or have been unable to break it down. Okay, so some of these connect over the left side chest, the left side rib cage. I think it's fifth or sixth up from the bottom, the intercostal muscle, and then we've got one just over the left side back solar plexus, connecting into the insert sciencey word here, part of the spine that connects to the disc and the nerve endings just over the solar plexus, and then one that's connected into the psoas muscle, backside hip, and underneath the pelvis. Backside of the cranial sacral, connecting into hypothalamus. These basically feel like they're connected into the J seals. There's like a current partial information of this of the J seals. Front side solar plexus unlocking. Fuzziness over the head begins to neutralize. Nice big inhale, drawing up the breath from the core of the earth. Expand it through the diaphragm, through the solar plex, through the heart. And as if your arms are stretched out in the position of Christ on the cross, those lights just emanate through the heart, through the chest, through the feet, through the hands, into the crown of the head, and begin to illuminate as emerald fire, the fire of the Holy Mother. Her love and her healing intercept with the pain. So we've got a kind of dual experience going on here of pain and love. That's what I'm feeling anyway. And the love overrides the feeling of the pain. That's triggering up levels of trepidation, fear, and obviously the kind of hypervigilance, fight, flight, freeze layers of mental shutdown and full body shutdown coming into activation. Awakening gold, vertical rod, horizontal staff, intercepting at the heart, awakening through the physical body. Right hemisphere and left hemisphere interface and connect, bridging the communication between both hemispheres, illuminating the back side of the brain through the front. Infinity symbol gold awakens, sword positioned through the earth is lifted out, the sword coming out of the stone, and overlaying blue sapphire flames immerse around the world, awakening the unification of consciousness on a personal and on a collective planetary level, as the symbol code is presented. This reissues and updates into the planetary logos and runs correction through the 7th axiotonal line, through the 7th dimensional ray, awakening the crown, illuminating the brainstem, inhaling, exhaling, the peace of Holy Mother moves through the heart and sits with relief. Let's just allow that transfer to take place. We're moving through quite an intense threshold there. Just breathing down into the root sacral and right the way down into the feet. Actually, we want to really get that breath down into the feet for this one. Claiming the body, claiming your abilities, and then just seeing it's kind of like the psychic blueprint, the healer blueprint, really coming into full blossom and activation. And that was somewhat kind of held outside in the antimatter, antiparticle field, so dimensions 8 to 12, just bringing that down into the solar plexus, heart, and anchoring through the personality, relaying its coding through the subconscious mind, the instinctual mind, the reasoning mind, and into the astral mind. Okay. So that's further triggered more freeze over the left side body, but probably about 1 meter out. So we're just going to start sending in love and connection with the Holy Mother, Holy Father through the heart into that space, just diagonally forward left. Okay, witnessing a rip within the layers of the dimensions of the auric field. And we just want to, it's already started to happen, but gold light is coming in and just starting to repair the light field genetics, the weave and the weft of the light field, or the grid, which is then recoding, building up the templates and interfacing them through the right side body, masculine and feminine harmonization between the currents, interface through caduceal joins, updating hierogamic joins, illumination of the Kundalini serpents, heat moving through the body, but also cold ice moving through the body. And we're just going to allow those two forces of hot and cold just to neutralize each other. Bridging connection, which then moves into bliss and joy. Nice slow breaths with that one. Creating safety between the mother and the father for the child to absorb. allowing this to recode your neural pathways and central nervous system. And we're also going to just take this up into the nadial system as well, the blueprint for the central nervous system, as well as a nice liquid gold gel to run through the nerve endings and the nadial pathways. Claiming your body, expanding your light, claiming your body, expanding your light, claiming your body, expanding your light. Once again, the artificial nature of fuzziness begins to phase out. So what we're looking at here is what we were looking at was the breakdown of the black tree of life. And now we're looking at its counterpart within the base 10 architecture, the artificial tree of life. So we're looking at the artificial component and how it's impacting your nadial system. And that can feel like a very subtle electrocution, which on a physical level, that would look like anxiety or trepidation and fear and freeze. And just connecting into your victim aspect that had taken on all of this information, which had shrunk its perception down. We're just going to bring it out, hold it, and show your aspect the structure that we've been working through. As you would speak to a tiny baby about telling it how much you love it and how much you're going to protect it in this world, we're going to do the same thing to this aspect to create the bond between your inner child and your inner victim, to train it to understand that it's no longer a victim and that it's completely safe. And that we were able to go through all of this today and that it survived. This creates trust between you and your aspects, and therefore knows that it's safe to integrate back into your form. Okay, there's another negative form that's just presenting here. It's kind of like a hybrid wolf with two sets of teeth. And it's presenting as the dominator again and the attacker, but you and the child are contained within a rose gold copper toned sphere, which seals your energy field and absorbs the copper tone rose gold light into your consciousness. And then I'm also seeing the wolf be given a carrot, and that makes the wolf stop being aggressive. Interesting kind of imagery. It's like it's looking for something to feed upon, and when you give it the carrot, it's happy with what it gets, and you remain unharmed, unscathed. It also shows as an offering of peace to the dark that we will look after you if you allow us. We will train you, we will get you back into alignment with source and out of the pain where you don't need to attack. So we're just going to contain that field in a really nice copper, rose gold, copper toned frequency, which is then also going into peach tone rose codes to interconnect with these layers of the shadow. And this imagery of the wolf. Okay. Next imagery is Pegasus coming in. Let's just allow that to open. And the words that are coming up behind that are Guardian Grace. Solar lights build through the backdrop and interface. Imagery of Hercules. Okay. And just absorbing the solar light back into your form, back into your body. I'm going to bring that into the imagery of Hercules and into Pegasus as well. Okay. Layers of heroic egotism, or kind of, yeah, I suppose heroic egotism. This needs deeper diving, to be fair. Okay. Looking at the kind of lots of Greek imagery. It could be because I'm going to Scotland in a couple of weeks, but the imagery of Narcissus as well, who was being absorbed by his own reflection, coming up here and just allowing that solar light just to come in and purify these levels of the negative ego, the imbalanced ego, just so it kind of starts to stabilize. We're going to bringing in humbleness, humility, grace. It really, yeah, it's really more so revolving around the humility and the humbleness here, and just neutralizing self-importance and egotism that could lead into narcissistic traits. So again, once again, we're dealing with the shadow body. Narcissus drops a flower in the water. The reflection dissolves, and then he turns from his own reflection to face the grand central sun. And then I'm just seeing a shadow step out of him into that, and light walking into him. And feeling a full body release with that. Inhaling, exhaling. Everything moving into peace and softness. We're going to gradually just bring ourselves back into the present moment. Inhaling, exhaling. Thanking the higher guidance structures, God Source, Guardians, Christos Sophia, Emerald Order, and everyone else's higher guidance structure as well. And thank yourselves too for showing up. And when you're ready, just bring yourself back around. Thank you.